So for me, and I will start off by saying I am going to have non-traditional advice in this session. I'm going to be very transparent about that. I did not have any aspirations to start a business or become an entrepreneur. I truly believe that entrepreneurship is something that you have to be called to do. And I felt compelled to do that at the time. So what motivated me was a spiritual pull, a calling on my life to do something that I did not see being done into the communities. Oftentimes you'll see there's so many similar businesses, so many similar organizations. Why not just join one? I felt called to identify a service gap. So when I started, it was actually because I was so uncomfortable working my 9 to 5. And when I mean uncomfortable, I was fresh out of college. I wanted to climb the ladder, like I was very enthusiastic. And out of nowhere, I just started getting very uncomfortable in my space for no specific reason. And then I got an opportunity to be a mental health advocate. I actually lead for the state of Delaware, but you needed to have a business license to do it. And I denied them for like 3 months straight, and then I got uncomfortable to the point where I'm like, God, are you trying to tell me something? So I went into the space, and they helped me with the process of getting my business license, and then I became an entrepreneur. But I truly believe it was something that I was born to do. So I think, to answer your question, what motivates you, I think you have to be called, and at the right time, you'll make that move. Okay.
So, another question, what does entrepreneurship mean to you at your age?
It's being in control of how I make my money and how I go about that process. So entrepreneurship is ownership, it's autonomy, it's responsibility, it's discipline. Entrepreneurship to me is having that autonomy to make my schedule, having that autonomy to decide how I go into community and do things. It's me having to answer to me, so holding myself unequivocally accountable. So entrepreneurship is being able to make my own money legally, and give back.
What skills do you think are most important for an entrepreneur to have?
Some of the things I just spoke of. So discipline, I would say, is the very first one. And discipline comes before you decide to go into entrepreneurship. And I think that's one of the most important ones. I think when we're held to a 9 to 5, we have someone that's clocking our hours. We have someone that is checking to make sure we're where we're supposed to be. We're held accountable if we're not where we're supposed to be. In entrepreneurship, you are your accountability partner. You're the one that has to say, hey, I gotta get up at this time, I gotta be here at this time, I gotta make sure these things are done. So discipline is one skill set. I'll say creativity is another. Like you have to be able to think outside of the box, especially with ebbs and flows of consumers. So depending on your business, for specifically me, I'm a consultant and also operate a nonprofit. So with funding flows that are being restricted right now, and I have to be creative in how I'm securing funding. Not only that, in consultancy where it's a funding restriction for everyone, I have to be creative of adjusting, not minimizing my value, but adjusting prices to match the market that's available right now, and then being creative of what market I'm trying to attract in those spaces. I'll say that's one. So creativity, discipline. I'll say another one is being organized, and that's something that I had to learn. I operate comfortably, and I won't say in chaos, but like I do a lot of things at the same time, and I operate freely in that. But I had to learn how to be organized. That was like one of the biggest challenges for me as an organization, making sure I had my calendar set, making sure I had papers where they're supposed to be. And I'll say specifically as business owners of color, one of the main reasons I feel that we fail, for lack of a better word, is because we don't have those supports in place to keep us organized. It's the lack of knowledge of how to, balance your books, how to make sure that you're monitoring money coming in and money going out, making sure when it comes tax time, you have your receipts in order, you have your expenses in order. So I'll say discipline, creativity, and organization.
Okay. So we're gonna target questions for ages 10 to 18. Have you ever tried to start a small business or project, even if it's just a lemonade stand or selling crafts?
Started, no. Joined, yes. So, I don't know if my church folk in the building, but y'all know after them Sunday services,
Yes.
we had the chicken sandwiches, we had the lemon cake, the
Hot
sodas,
dogs.
what you said, hot dogs, yeah, hot sausages. So I would always be that kid. One, I love to eat, so I mean, maybe a little selfish there. Maybe, we can eat for free when we helping out. So
Right.
that was one thing. But I would say at that age, definitely helping, and that's where I go back to like people in our community. And entrepreneurship also, what it means to me, is financial freedom. We have so much gifts in our community. I mean, we have so many gifts and talents, and we don't know how to operationalize those to make income. And speaking of, going back to the church, a lot of our aunties, our cousins, shout out to my Aunt Yola, our grandparents, they are really good cooks. If you ask them, you want to use them for an event, they don't have their license, they don't have their FDA approvals, but you can't book them because they don't have those business things in place. So I would say yes, I have joined, in those spaces, and that taught me how I can generate income. As I got older, it taught me how I can do it in a way that I can generate wealth.
Alright. So, again, for the ages 10 to 18, what resources or support do you wish you had to help you get started?
We were talking about this earlier. For me, especially in that 10 to 18 age range, financial literacy. Like that, I feel like is the foundation of being a business owner, is having that financial. I think it was Cardi B that said, if you are aspiring to own a business, even have that thought, go take a business course. Like, I think at that age, if I just understood the context of money, and I think if I understood how to be responsible with money, even going like to knowing the importance of credit cards and the value of credit cards and the impact if you don't pay them credit cards. So I think financial literacy would be, if I had that at that age, I think that would have been a pivotal change in how I started my business originally.
So we're gonna move to ages 19 to 30. How do you use technology and social media in building your business?
Right now, whether we like it or not, we are in a technological, if I even said that right, age. Thank you. See, that's why I love a talk back church. We're in that age.
Yes.
We are in that age. We are in the age of artificial intelligence or AI. Like we're not going to get away from it. We're only going to become more immersed in it. So I'll say it is a heavy tool in the work that I do. And when I say tool, I mean one thing that artificial intelligence or technology can't do that humans can do is what Brandy talked about, and that's empathy. It's having that personable experience, right? I don't care who you call, what organization you call now, 9 times out of 10, you're getting an automated voice on the phone, you're not getting a person. And you know how frustrated we get with that 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Like, I just want to talk to a person. It doesn't happen, So, but to answer your point, like it's just becoming the way of the world. So we have to figure out how to still keep that person first and that person-centered model when using artificial intelligence and technology. Also, how do we get information now? A lot of it is via Facebook, Instagram, it's online. I think Khalil talked about we don't have the newspapers anymore, so a lot of things are digital. So it's figuring out how you can articulate your digital brand, your digital message to meet the audiences where they are. So.
Next question. What advice would you give to someone your age who wants to start a business?
I don't gotta say my age, right?
No.
Okay. Something advice that I would give to someone who wants to start a business is, if you have that feeling, that thought, even if it's like that you want to start a business, my advice would be to do it. And do it now. And when I say do it now, I mean do it scared, do it without the resources, Do it without the game plan if you don't have that, yet a lot of what society will teach you and what academia will teach you is to wait till you have this, and this in order before you go. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but what I'm saying is when you are so called to do it, that may not be in place. You gotta go by that gut feeling like, hey, I'm supposed to move, and everything else will align. So if someone my age were to come to me and say, hey, I'm starting this business, I don't know what to do. Okay, first things first, let's go do it.
Yeah.
You can find mentors. That will be my next thing. Find a mentor that you can trust. I did not have the pleasure of having a mentor when I first started, so I was floating head above water, trying to figure it out, trial and error, making mistakes. I would say now that I have spaces where I can have access to mentors, it does help me out, and I could have mitigated some of those pitfalls had I had that sooner. So I would say do it anyway, and then find mentors and trusted people.
So how do you find a mentor?
Put yourself out there. You have be in the places that you want to be. So if you see yourself working in a Fortune 5 or creating a Fortune 500 company, if you see yourself as one of the best in the game in consulting or nonprofit or mental health, be in those spaces, go to those conferences. I am an ambivert, meaning I am an extrovert for work because I have to talk to people, so I train myself. If I gotta be social, it's work. But I'm actually an introvert at heart, meaning I love y'all, but I do not like people. love y'all dearly. I do. And when I say that, I don't mean like people. I mean like my social, I'm very much comfortable in my own shell. That's just how I am. I would love and have the best time in my bed with my feet rubbing together, watching Disney movies. Like that's me. That's me. But I had to get uncomfortable, and I always say like I'm wearing this sweater because it is Delaware State University homecoming. But I didn't take advantage of having the HBCU experience when I was in school. I didn't socialize. I didn't network. It wasn't until after I graduated that I started those things, and it actually started with me leaving work. I was working for H. Fletcher Brown Boys and Girls Club at the time. I would leave work and I would just go to different events, and I would sign my name and I would sit in the back or sit in the corner, and I would just immerse myself in the knowledge, and I would write notes of who's like, when you see you're going, I had to learn, okay, this person has this resource, this person owns this business, I may need to use them in the future. So I started a lot, like making myself take notes and introducing myself. So sometimes first it started with me just getting in the room, put myself out there. Then it grew into me introducing myself. Hey, I'm such and such, this is what I'm doing. Then it grew into me saying, hey, I noticed you this. Is there a way that we can partner? Can I go grab coffee? So you definitely have to put yourself out there. And it may not be you walking in fully bold and confident at first, but just be uncomfortable. Okay. And then that discomfort will turn into something that you do without thinking. Okay. Yeah.
All right, so the next question is from ages 31 to 40. How do you stay innovative and adapt to changes in your industry?
Utilize the young people. Give the young people something to do. Like you don't know what you don't know. And I'm big on, if I'm not privy to a space or I don't have that experience, I won't be the one front facing those spaces. I'll go find someone that can relate, and I'll go find someone that does have that experience, and I'll glean from them, and I'll learn from them, or I'll give them the opportunity to go about whether it's a contract, whether it's a facilitation, but to stay up with the times from that 31 to 40, use the young people. And if you don't have the financial means at this time to hire, work on internships, provide an internship opportunity where they're getting the experience. I don't think people understand time is also money. Like you can invest time. It may not be monetary. You can invest time, you can invest wisdom, you can invest knowledge, you can invest connections. Like give them something to do. And not only is it helping them, but it's helping you return so you can stay privy. And also do your research. Like you have to, in this day and age, you can't miss. I learned, my background is political science, and things in this world politically were just so crazy. I just stopped looking at the news. Like I didn't want to. It was a protection of my mental health. It was a protection of my peace and my safe space. I just stopped looking at the news. But what I learned in me doing that, even though it was a protective measure, I also missed out on a lot that was happening, and I couldn't speak to that. Like this, you talk about, being incarcerated, being away for 10 years. If you're away for 5 months, things have shifted drastically. COVID happened immediately. The world shut down. So like you have to stay up to date with times, not only on the national level, believe it or not, politically. more things happen on your local levels, your municipalities, your city councils, your school boards, your state legislators, and your state reps and state senators. They have actually more control in what goes on and what impacts you than the president does. So, and I think they were talking about that earlier. But like I said, my background is poli-sci, and part of our work in our nonprofit, self-plug, I'm gonna throw it in since you asked the question. Part of our work in our nonprofit on the community side is we work with, so what was happening when executive orders were coming out, you guys know nonprofits were literally like emergency meetings. Hey, do we need to merge? Do we need to pivot? Do we need to change language? Most had changed names of programs, had changed names of their organization. And what was happening is the community, Delaware small, so your same community advocates that are most of the time in the spaces were being invited to private spaces to make decisions and strategize about things that would affect the whole community. I was so uncomfortable in those spaces because I can't speak for the whole community. I don't experience everything that my community experiences. So I took those same conversations and I opened it up to the public. So we created our own table and then invited them to our table. So said that to say, I understand that my background is poli-sci. There is language that I'm privy to that others may not understand. So in those spaces, what we do is we dissect the language, we dissect the policy, and we regurgitate in a way that's comprehensive to the community. So they say, hey, actually, this is important. Hey, actually, it may not affect me, but this affects my grandkid, or this affects my cousin or my auntie. My the thing with Medicare and Medicaid right now, with things being cut and insurance shifting, my grandma is going to be affected, where her premium is going up, and she doesn't have that supplemental back end that can help her go to her doctor's appointment. So it's just being aware of what's going on politically, locally, and being able to articulate that to the communities that we serve.
Alright, so our last question here, what advice do you have for parents or educators who want to encourage entrepreneurship in children and teens?
Okay, this is what Mom, if you see this, still love me. I will say this, any adult, regardless of your role, understand that in this day and age, everyone is not going to do things the way that they were done back in the 90s, not even the way they were done back in the early.
You alright? I think she's having a seizure. Yeah, everything. Let's go.